presented by the Montana Television Network. The 10 o'clock news continues on KPAX, Montana's news leader.
U.S. Senator Jon Tester met with folks in Kalispell before he headed back to Washington, D.C.
And he told our chief political reporter Mike Dennison there's a lot of work to do, including the preservation of programs like Social Security to help people, and his re-election campaign.
Tester, a Democrat, says he wants to work with President Donald Trump when he can on issues to advance the nation, but none of it means cutting programs like Social Security or Medicare.
Speaker of the House has already said they're gonna do entitlement reform. That's code for we're going to cut these programs, and they're going to do it to pay for the tax bill. But the bottom line is that those programs have to remain as they are, and I'll be fighting hard to make sure that Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, those kind of programs are there. Our elderly depend upon them. They're way too important to cut.
Tester says deficit spending created by the tax cut bill is a big reason he voted against it. Montana's senior senator says he has 3 items he'd like Congress to pass, aimed specifically at Montana: a ban on a proposed mine north of Yellowstone Park, a conservation and recreation plan for the Blackfoot Clearwater area in western Montana, and a bill easing regulations on small banks and credit unions.
Why is this important for Montana? Access to capital in rural America is critically important. The big guys aren't going to serve us. There's no way if we lose those community banks that they'll be replaced by the big Wall Street banks. It's just not going to happen, and it shouldn't happen.
Tester says he doesn't anticipate problems renewing the Farm Bill, but on infrastructure, he's worried Republicans will push a bill to use public-private partnerships to finance it, and says that won't work in Montana. This year also happens to be an election year for Tester. He says his opponents will try to cast him as a Washington insider out of touch with Montanans, but that tactic has been tried before.
I'm still the guy that's a third generation. Farming is still my love. I love to go back and work with people and hear from Montanans and try to do right for this country, and that's why I get home nearly every weekend. That's why I go out and hold public meetings. That's why I go out and meet with people and businesses and talk to them about the challenges and get their ideas and take them back to Washington, D.C.
Mike Dennison, MTN News, Kalispell.
Senator Tester will be returning to D.C. next week when the Senate gets back to work. Next, the U.S. Justice Department has ended a policy discouraging federal prosecutors from filing marijuana-related charges in those states, what that means for us here in Montana.
And the Grizz and Lady Grizz looking to stay perfect in Big Sky play. Find out if they did coming up later in sports here on KPAX.